I saw my father's brother changing flavors in the last year of his life. It was the last brother my father buried. My mother doesn't go anymore. The last time at his second eldest brother's funeral, whose name was the exhaustion of my grandmother's naming children, she left out one letter of the surname. She ran out of disciple names, and Ma says, "Never marry someone with a disciple name. They're bastards like your father." My grandmother died before my father was 10, when her husband died the year before. My father grew up calling his brother uncle and his little brother calling him uncle, and I have a cousin 2 decades older than me that I call auntie. His sister carried my cousin when her mother carried her brother, and they lent each other breast milk. So when I saw my uncle changing flavors from a milk rooibos tea to the stench of cow dung my family calls the ape, I remember I wasn't allowed to put my hands on his forehead. It's bad luck if you don't. I was glad to not touch death that day. I noticed that we were using the same leaflet as last time. We have a lot of Jameses in our family, and no one really looks at the date, other than to keep it on their heads when it's raining, or fan themselves when the sun is baking outside. At the after tears, a son-in-law got stabbed. My cousin broke her ankle in her aunt's grip. My aunt's neck was in her middle brother's hands, and her eyes shouted, but no one listens to eyes in my family, not even when they are shut. We are used to it. People die, we sing. People die, we cry. And tomorrow we go to work so that they can make up for their funeral cover at the end of the week. My father's brother died with a used eulogy. For the gossiping bereaved, us children learn the hymn, "He died of the liver." Every flavor has an illness in our family, and we know it by heart. I had to stop going to funerals because I laughed when my mother passed out and they carried her off. She had just buried her son. All the cousins had to wear bow ties like they were working for a pizzeria. My uncle was funny, and my aunt laughed afterwards that he used to steal dresses. My family, I remember, was standing at a distance that day, and they didn't open the casket. And everybody was glad to take their handkerchiefs out of their mouths. And when they stabbed the cross into the grave after Lady Di hugged that child in the hospital, people started to touch the foreheads of those with the "You can go to jail for calling someone." My father recently celebrated his birthday. He's the first person in our family's history to reach the age of 60. Saying to the evening, "Will bury me when all my pallbearers are dead. I've been going to funerals before I could knock. I've been going to funerals before I could mock."